Because this is a Pokemon-related video, I decided to put some Pokemon music in the background. Hopefully you can hear it fine. My desktop audio is absolutely fucked. I'm also making this on a complete whim. This will also not be very long, so I'm not going to super justify where I rank stuff. There will be some nostalgia, there will be, it's 3:25. I want to go to bed. I'm not going to spend an eternity on this. So I'll spend like 30 minutes max on this, probably. So, I have been into Pokemon for a very long time. One of the first games I ever played was Pokemon Sapphire on the Game Boy Advance SP. And then I think it was Fire Red and Leaf Green. Yeah, well, Fire Red. And then I think it was Diamond, then Platinum, then Soul Silver, then Yellow, and then I don't know after that. I think that's how it went. And then I think it just followed a general path of 5 to 9. I have only played Gen 7, 8, and 9 once. And in addition to that, I have only played Let's Go once. Well, it's part of Gen 7. What's counted as part of the generation, Fire Red and Leaf Green, even though they are remakes of Gen 1 games, it's using Gen 3's engine and mechanics and shit, so... Yeah, that's Gen 3. But yeah, yeah, so we're just gonna rank them, I guess. Oh, and I've barely played Legends Arceus, but I know that people really like it. I will try and, that'll be a hard one to rank. But, yeah. Anyway, now we gotta think of the worst generation. And honestly, I'm ready to put Gen 1 in D. Maybe. Maybe I'll take a second guess at buy it, right? Okay, so one thing I need to get out of the way immediately is that I do not count, like, oh, but you can do a lot of fun glitches as, like, an actual, it's supposed to be about, like, the actual enjoyment, unironic enjoyment of the actual video game, Red, Blue, and Yellow have no remakes, so it's just one generation where the games are basically, and Gen 2 and Gen 9 are like that too, but we will get to those. They are extremely broken. Some Pokemon designs are AIDS, like, critical hit rate is based off of base speed of the Pokemon. The type chart is absolutely fucked because of psychic types. There's no good bug types or bug type moves. Freeze is permanent, except for very rare things. Like, normal types, water types, psychic types are all too good. There's no abilities, no physical special split, no special attack and special defense split. Like, you can't see your EXP bar unless you go into the Pokemon's, like, summary thing. Well, yeah, the games are held together by fucking, with cardboard and glue. It's just an absolute mess. And, it was made by a very small team, and the game is very ambitious. 151 Pokemon. These games are extremely important, and for their time, these games must have been fucking masterpiece. Right? But, let's be real, unironically, not glitches and stuff, just unironic enjoyment, without factoring nostalgia, they are outclassed in every conceivable way by Fire Red and Leaf Green. Fire Red and Leaf Green even have the Sevi Islands, and abilities to make certain Pokemon better, Butterfree, I've used Butterfree, Fire Red, and Leaf Green, and it actually works, kind of, because it has Compound Eyes, which increases its accuracy. So, Sleep Powder, which normally has 75% accuracy, now has, I think it's like 92? Like 90 to 92, I think? Like, so it's actually, so there's no reason to use the horrible Parasect, So there's that. But there's also even just, like, certain Pokemon getting, like, Intimidate and stuff like that makes them really cool. But yeah, the only reason at that point that you could prefer RBY is if you really like, how simple it is in comparison. If you don't like abilities, if you, like these, Gen 1 mechanics on how certain moves work, like Hyper Beam and stuff. If you love the glitches, that's totally understandable. I'm just trying to not rank them from that. If we were ranking it from glitches, then yeah, Obby-Y's got the best fucking glitches out there, bro. For one of the best, some of the best glitches I've seen in a game. Like, it's really awesome. Like, some of them. I used to fuck around with them a lot as a kid. Used to watch it. You guys remember Missing No Expert? I think he unlisted, like, all of his videos or whatever, but I used to watch him all the time. And I obviously have to give it a lot of respect, but Fire Red and Leaf Green are just completely, just obsolete these. And as you'll see later on, I do not really like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, but I would say even those games are better than RBY because they are, again, significantly less broken. If you want a more simple game, Let's Go does do that. You know, if you want a more simple game than Fire Red and Leaf Green, because they slashed abilities, you can once again max out all the stats, but it has, you know, the fairy typing, it has some newer moves with updated base powers or accuracy or whatever, certain Pokemon with slightly updated stats, it has, you know, that different catching mechanic if you like that, Pokemon are visible in the overworld, you know, well, and the game is on the Switch, you know, like a more, you know, and the games look good, so yeah, I just put in D. Now, next one, Gen 2. I really struggle with this one. These are also completely obsoleted by Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but it's not as obsoleted. Well, Gen 2 are a huge stepper from Gen 1 mechanically. They are I mean, it's significantly less broken. It's significantly less broken. It's just, it's not even close. Gen 2 still has some glitch Pokemon. It still has, like, some things. For example, you know how you can, like, craft Pokeballs and stuff? If I remember correctly, nearly none of them work properly. Present, you know, the Delibird exclusive move doesn't work properly. Ho sucks as a legendary. Lugia is way better stat-wise and move pool-wise and shit like that. Entei also is a bad legendary, but, yeah. Also, Chikorita is so bad. It is probably the worst starter in any Pokemon game, like, unironically. You know, Johto is just nasty to grass types, and Chikorita's stats are just too average. And then Totodile is a physical attacker who's a water type, so he can't use fucking physical water moves because it's Gen 2. And then Typhlosion literally has the exact same base stats as Charizard. Not the same base stat total, the same base stats. Same HP, same special attack, same speed, etc. The only difference is that Typhlosion, in my opinion, doesn't look as cool, and it doesn't have the flying typing, which, yeah, makes it not weak to certain things, but it also gives it a ground weakness, and it doesn't get fly, so you need to get Typhlosion and a flyer for your team, because this is back when flyers were mandatory. That sucks, dude. That fucking sucks. Also, Lance sucks as a champion, dude. Where's Kingdra? Dude, Lance only has Gen 1 Pokemon, and 3 of them are the same fucking Pokemon. If you're only gonna use Pokemon that look like dragons, right? Like, you still could use Kingdra. It looks dragon enough. Like, it couldn't... Like, 2 Dragonite, okay. You know, maybe. You know, even though champions don't really do that, but okay. But, like, dude, okay. Because here's the thing, here's something about Red, Blue, and Yellow, honestly, right? Red, Blue, and Yellow, and, you know, Fire and Leaf Green, have the best rival, easily, the best rival, it's not even close. They had the perfect balance, right, of, like, this dickhead, who isn't, you know, he's mostly only a dick to you, and he's genuinely good, and he's always one step ahead of you. Even though he keeps losing to you, he's still constantly one step ahead of you throughout the entire journey, and you get so sidetracked and just don't improve as fast, and it's frustrating. And when you think you finally beat the Elite Four, it gets revealed that he's the champion and he just beat you. That is insane. That's awesome. Imagine that twist as a kid. That's like, that blow your fucking mind, right? In Gen 2, well, okay, well, I'll say briefly, I hate rivals now. Ever since, like, Gen 3, they've all been super nice, but there's no motivation to beat them now. Especially from Gen 6 onwards, when they now pick the starter that you're super effective against. Whereas from Gens 1 to 5, they would always pick the starter that is better against yours. But, yeah, just completely fucking... Like, they nailed it first try, and they fucked it in Gen 2. Also, briefly as well, your rival's team is really good. Like, just good variety, you know. Exeggutor, Gyarados, you know, Arcanine, those are cool Pokemon. You also, obviously got the starters, who would have guessed, but you also have, like... Rhydon is cool. Pidgeot's kind of whatever, but still, you know... Whereas with Lance, yeah, you know, Aerodactyl's cool, Charizard's cool, but, like, they're all flying types, and, like, I don't know, man. Like, it feels like there's less variety, and I do think champions are better when they don't stick to one specific type, which is, like, nearly none of them. But, you know, like, I think... having your rival be the champion for the first game does make a lot of sense. Anyway... Oh, yeah, in Gen 2 as well, they fucked it. Dude, the game has a massive leveling issue, where, like, the champion uses a level 50 Dragonite, and in Red, Blue, and Yellow, I think the champion uses, like, a level 60, like, 5 starter. And that would be fine in itself if there weren't a severe lack of trainers. There's so much Team Rocket bullshit in between the, I think, like, 5th and 7th gym, I think, or the 4th and 7th gym, and the Pokemon's levels are fucked. You're supposed to do, like, Chuck, Jasmine, and Price, I think, but Price's Pokemon are, like, levels below, like 3 or 4 levels below Jasmine. And who have, like, a... weaker type, you know, ice. It's all fucked. And there's so much Team Rocket stuff, it's painful. And there's less of a clear goal this time with Team Rocket. Because before, you know, Giovanni was leading them, and now they're just, like, doing whatever. And it's, like, it's just not as intimidating. I would have honestly preferred a new team. It would be something different. But, yeah, like, I just don't think... It just... Team Rocket's worse, the leveling is worse, and also, Kanto, it is cool to go back to Kanto, but the version of Kanto is not as good as in Red, Blue, and Yellow, because all the trainers are super fucking easy. Like, they hardly ever have Pokemon above Lance's level, and then you get to Red, and there's such a massive level difference between you and Red. And Red's cool, don't get me wrong, he's cool. But, like, dude, that much of a level difference? Like, what the fuck? Also, Snorlax is so busted, dude. If you, literally, right, catch Snorlax and teach it, like, Return, Curse, and, like, Rest and Sleep Talk, and literally, like, you'll be Red at, like, level 50. I've done it before. Like, you literally, you know, at most, use just a couple Full Restores or whatever, if you really need to, and then you'll just steamroll. But yeah, again, graphically, there's a massive improvement. Mechanically, there is a massive improvement. The game is, there's more things to do, there's even more Pokemon, and they look awesome, dude. Gen 2 sprites look so good. They look so good. They're not my favorites sprites, that'd be Gen 5, but, like, wow, they look really fucking good. But yeah, it is an improvement over Gen 1, but it's basically just mechanically. If Gen 1 had Gen 2 mechanics, then Gen 1 would be better, definitely. Absolutely. Because otherwise, they're worse in quite a few ways. Oh yeah, I forgot to complain about the rival completely. Your rival is so awful, dude. They make him so extreme. Instead of your rival being blue, just being a bit of a dick. He's a dick to you, but he is, you know, genuinely good. You have this fucking asshole literally just stole a Pokemon. He's a genuinely bad person. And only at the very, very end does he say anything about not being a shitty person anymore. Like, it would have been cool if, like, he lost to the champion or something, and then he was like, oh, dude, you know, did I do something wrong? I don't know, bro. And then he battles you, and then he's like, holy shit, dude, I think I get it now, or whatever. Or maybe the second to last time you fight him, he should say something about it. Then he's like, oh, I faced a champion, but I lost. I got completely steamrolled. But I still already feel more powerful than when I wasn't respecting my Pokemon. I'm gonna change, you know, you change, you know, thank you. Stuff like that. That would have been also something, but nah. Just sucks, bro. Yeah, just sucks. Anyway, good games, I suppose, but, like, you know what I mean by good. It's hard to rank these, but for now, just chuck it in here. Again, just pretty much completely obsoleted. It's only not obsoleted if you don't care for, like, abilities and you like simplicity a little bit. Or the charm, and I get that. I get that more than Gen 1, but I still just, Gen 4 helps certain Pokemon get a lot better too, and there's even more Pokemon because of, like, evolutions and stuff. Okay, I don't know if I want to go straight to Gen 3. I might go to Gen 8. I might go to Gen 8. It's hard to say. I was thinking of putting it in C. Because here's the thing with Gen 8, right? Sword and Shield look ugly. They look really ugly. And they don't run well. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl have, like, basically none of the improvements of Platinum. I do think that they're technically better versions of Diamond and Pearl. But these are the worst remakes we've had. It's not even close. In my opinion, other than Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, then I feel like it's debatable. But if we're not counting Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, I think the worst remakes probably are Fire Red and Leaf Green. I think that is still pretty fucking good remake. This is like the pretty much the bare minimum. It makes 2 changes that are pretty big, but they were easy to implement. But and then every other tiny change is microscopic. You know. So you know. I do think they're better than Diamond and Pearl, but I think they look worse than Diamond and Pearl. I'd still probably rather play than Diamond and Pearl, especially because it's on my Switch and I don't have to bust out my DS, and, you know, bust out the cartridge, you know, blow into it a few times, watch it not work the first time, blow it again, and then it's so agonizingly slow, and it is really slow in Platinum, but it's so fucking slow in the originals, and Platinum speeds it up a bit. Faster swimming, faster health bars, and just all the gyms have been redesigned and be better. Like all the gym leaders have, like, more suitable teams that make sense. Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl doesn't have any of that shit. Even though, okay, so the 2 massive changes with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl that are really big. The pacing is way faster. It isn't just health bars that are just fucking instant at this point. The whole game feels a lot faster. Especially because of the, I don't like the Force EXP shit. There should definitely be an option to turn it off. I will never not think that. But the fact that it's there, yeah, like, grinding in Diamond and Pearl, like, I was playing Pokemon Pearl before, and I gave up because I had a Rhyhorn, and I didn't want to train it up, like, 10 levels because it would take an actual eternity. But yeah, no, it didn't have to think about that this time, really. It makes the games more enjoyable in the long term. But yeah, again, literal bare minimum remakes. Oh yeah, but the other thing that they changed is that HMs are now just automatic. And that is so fucking massive. So massive that I could maybe see myself very occasionally preferring to play this over Platinum. I really do mean that, because even in Platinum, It's hard to justify having 6 team members, but Pokemon is best with 6 team members. Easily. It's so much more enjoyable than 5. Yeah, it makes the game harder, but it's cooler. It's cooler to do that. Everybody likes using 6, but one of those slots should really be used on Bibarel, because, like, goddamn. Like, holy fuck. But yeah. I'd still say Platinum is probably overall better, but I could maybe see why somebody preferred Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. They did add like, a better, like, underground system as well, but yeah, I don't really care about that. I've barely played Legends Arceus, but I know it looks ugly, you know, compared to what it could look like for a multi-billion-dollar company. But I think it looks good enough, and the game's mechanics definitely interest me. The concept is really interesting, and I'm glad it's sold well, because I think people would love to see, you know, more stuff like this. But I've barely played it, so I bet if I did beat the whole thing, I'd probably think it's pretty good. So I can take a guess. But yeah. And then as for Gen 8, I do unironically, I mean, Sword and Shield, I do unironically like the games. One of my favorite things is the wild area. And also the variety of Pokemon, despite... One of the reasons why it's ranked so low is because it was the first gen to solidify, well, to have Dexit, you know, they call it Dexit because it's Brexit, but, you know, Pokemon. Less Pokemon are in the Dex now. A lot less. However, I appreciate that there's still a big variety of Pokemon. I was able to get Swinub in the wild area before the first gym. Or it might have been before the second gym, I can't remember, but... That's huge. Dude, ice Pokemon traditionally are caught very late in the game. I forgot to complain about something else in Gen 2. Houndour, for some reason you can only get it in Kanto. I think Murkrow you can also only get in Kanto, and Murkrow's a terrible Pokemon. Fortress has, like, an abysmal move pool. It's practically unusable. I think there's a couple other Pokemon that can only be caught in Kanto as well. It's really stupid. Some Pokemon got an evolution from Gen 1 to 2, though, and made them a lot better, like Onix into Steelix. That was pretty huge. Steelix is cool. Anyway. Oh, yeah, and in the Ghost Gym, which I believe is the 4th gym, I think his name is, like, Morty or something, I can't remember. I don't think he ever uses Mischievous. And it's like, that is the only new ghost type in the gen. Also, they only added 1 ghost and 1 dragon. And only a few bugs. And the bugs suck, except for Heracross. Fucking hell. So, they fail to consistently improve upon the game. Like, some things are better, yeah. Having 2 unique ghost types is better than 1, but, like, still. Yeah, so Sword and Shield, they're good, they're easy, but there's actually a surprising amount of variety. I genuinely like quite a few of the Pokemon. I think the music's good. I kind of like Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing. I think Gigantamaxing is cool. I liked the twist. That's pretty late in the game. I thought that was good. I like raids. But at the end of the day, they do feel like, you know, the evil team is not evil, it's just fucking a bunch of bozos. And yeah, on the Switch, the game looks pretty ugly. I do like the games, but paired with a game I've barely played and just bad remakes, like, I just... You know what's sad? Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl have better remakes than Rehydrated, that's fucking sad. So yeah, per and C. I've only played Sword and Shield once though. Oh yeah, also, it's a bit debatable on like how bad this actually is, but there's a bit of a like debate about like because Sword and Shield stopped doing the 3rd version thing. You know, you have Red and Blue, and then Yellow's an upgrade. You have Gold and Silver, and Crystal is an upgrade. Crystal, you know. Crystal will have, like, different Pokemon distributions, you know, maybe more Pokemon available, maybe rebalance some gym leaders or movesets on Pokemon. you know, add animations to the sprites, stuff like that, you know, stuff like that gets added. Sword and Shield were the first games to stop doing that. And instead, they have DLC that you can buy. I believe it was half the price of the actual game. So, for me, obviously, Sword and Shield was £50, so I think the DLC was £25, and it was different depending... I think there were 2 sets of DLC as well. And, it was different depending on if you were playing Sword or Shield. I think people didn't like that. But here's the thing, right? There are people who are going to buy the main game for £50 and then, or $60, and then they'll buy the third version for $60, which is $120. So is it better to pay $120 for 2 of basically the same game, one slightly better, or is it better to pay $60 and then pay a total of $75? I mean, not 75, like $90 for the for hours of added content that's actually different. I would say that if done correctly, that just is pretty much objectively better. But what that does mean though is that you now don't get a refined version of the base game anymore, which does suck. And Gen 9 is pretty affected by that, I feel like, in particular. But yeah, that's basically what it comes down to. Like, do you prefer that, or would you want DLC? You know, a lot of people argued, you know, this DLC should have been in the game in the first place. But obviously, if the DLC didn't exist, then there would be nothing for people to make that argument with in the first place. You know what I mean? If people were going to buy the 2 copies anyway, I do think this is better. But if you were only gonna buy one, then yeah, it is worse. Like, for people who waited for like the good version, you know. Sword and Shield definitely could have had a glow up. Anyway, yeah, it sucks to put in C, because I want to put in B, but because of Legends Arceus, and because, again, even though the bad remakes, they still do something. And Sword and Shield I do genuinely like, but, yeah. I think the next one I'm gonna put up here is Gen 7. I don't know if I want to put it better or worse than Gen 8. Because here's the thing, right? I have not played Ultra. But I know that they add Pokemon. I know that it makes the early game, like, way less cutscene-like. And just has some quality of life things, but I just haven't played it, you know? It's hard to say, you know? And there's also less variety in Gen 7. You have games, you know, effective third version of game, and then Gen 1 remakes. Whereas in Gen 8, you have you have the actual games with DLC, remakes, and spin-off that people really like. So Gen 8 has more variety of content. Sun and Moon, yeah, they're like the cheapest main series Pokemon games. Not Ultra, regular Sun and Moon. They literally go for like £15, £12, £13 used. Whereas Ultra Sun and Moon go for like £30, £32, so about retail price. Slightly higher even for like used copies. Like around retail. And I'm just gonna say it, I think Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are worse than Fire Red and Leaf Green, and it annoys me that people... I've seen people do tier lists of Pokemon, and they rank Let's Go higher, and I'm just like, ugh. Like, have you played those games recently? Like, they don't have the Sevi Islands, they remove, like, a lot of moves and stuff. Like, your rival sucks. It's not Blue. It's just some guy. It's just some guy who's nice to you and smiles all the time. It's such a fucking downgrade. It's horrible. And, like, the games are so goddamn easy, and there's no traditional wild encounter. So if you don't like what they did in Let's Go, then fuck you. There's no going back. And again, they're really easy. You can have your Pokemon follow you, and that's awesome. And you don't need a flyer on your team anymore because of the air balloon thing. That is awesome. No forced HMs. That's awesome. But, like, they got rid of the fucking Safari Zone, if I remember correctly. And they removed abilities. And yeah, they have the physical special split, but, like, where's the Sevi Islands? Where's, like, the actual challenge? Where's the... Dude, I've seen people give takes, like... Hot take, Pokemon is not easier. And it's, like, tell that to Red and Cynthia. Like, yeah, they're not insane. Like I said, you can beat Red with a Snorlax. But, like, are you seriously telling me, okay, X and Y, right? All of the Elite Four members normally have 5 Pokemon. In X and Y, they have 4. And the champion has 5 Pokemon. It's not easier, though. Nope, not easier. Nope. Forced EXP share? Oh, no, not easier. Nope. Like, you're wrong. You are just wrong. Whether or not it improves the game or not, it doesn't matter. You are wrong. They are easier. You cannot fucking dispute that. You are literally just wrong. And you're fucking stupid. And you should feel bad about yourself. Anyway, yeah. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are okay. I could see myself replaying them at some point. But in my opinion, the most enjoyable aspect of them, other than seeing Kanto, like, in 3D and shit, like, that is cool. And the game does look good. And having all the Pokemon, being able to see them is cool. I like that. And the physical special split is nice. And Melmetal's a cool Pokemon to add to the game. To me, the actual, like, really cool thing about it is the shiny hunting. It's still not for me. I like shiny hunting. I like soft resets because then I have to barely look at the screen so I can watch, like, anime or even just, like, watch other shows. And Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, you'd really have to, like, glue your eyes to the screen. I don't like that, but, you know, like, I do think it's a pretty nice improvement, you know. And the shiny charm is in these games, and instead of needing 4 billion Pokemon like you do in other games, you only need 151. That's pretty easy to do, especially when they're all visible, you know? If you want to do that, but you don't have to. That's a cool thing. You don't have to use the shiny charm. Which is why I like it. If only the EXP shit was like that, fucking hell. But yeah. Just had a sip of my drink just then. So yeah, Sun and Moon. Well, yeah, I think Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, other than cool graphical upgrades with some neat features, I do think Fire and Leaf Green are better overall. Especially because you can get access to some Gen 2 and 3 Pokemon post-game. And because there's an Elite Four Round 2, and you can hunt the legendary, Raikou, Suicune, and Entei. Anyway, Sun and Moon. I like Sun and Moon, but I've only beaten them once. I always just give up after a little bit. I do want to get back into them, but I'm pretty busy at the moment. When I'm not busy doing my stuff, I'm probably gonna come back to it. But I'll play Ultra because I never played Ultra. I think a lot of the added Pokemon are cool. I like the Alola region. I think the atmosphere, I think the vibe is cool. Gen 7 is when they started having Bozo, villains. They're just kind of, you know, they were a little on the silly side, but I feel like at the time that was like, okay, you know. They didn't have to want to kill everyone ever or anything, you know, like for a generation. It's hard to fully remember my experience. I remember the game dropped frames a lot. And some people went crazy about, like, the multiple islands. Some people went crazy about the trials. I kind of like them. Some definitely are better than others. Your rivals, kind of whatever. I think he's okay. The story is interesting. You can fight the Elite Four in any order you want, but that's also like the same thing as in Gen 5 and 6. It's not like, again, it's hard to say because it's been so long, but I think the general consensus is that, you know, considering that they are the cheapest main series Pokemon games, yeah, you can kind of tell what the consensus is. So many cutscenes, horrible frame rate. like, your rival's kind of whatever. Games are once again easy. Like, some people went crazy about, like, Z move. You know, Z moves are a little bit of a lame gimmick compared to fucking Megas. Megas were OP, and some Pokemon, like Tyranitar, got one when they really didn't deserve to. It should have been used for Pokemon that needed the boost, and some did get that, like Medicham, but yeah. Some Pokemon did not deserve them, like Charizard and Mewtwo having two. You know, don't give one to, like, Milotic or anything, bro. Nah, just give it to fucking Gyarados and Metagross. Yeah, why not, bro? Also, Ultra Sun and Moon has, like, the wormhole stuff. I think people quite like that, and I think it has, like, more, like, game modes and stuff you can play. But yeah. I'm just gonna have to rank it and see, because it has not amazing remakes, to say the least, in my opinion. And Sun and Moon is cutscene and frame rate drop Vil, and I haven't played Ultra. This video is already a lot longer than I thought it was gonna be. 36 minutes in. God damn it. Okay, it's gonna be hard to rank the next one. But I think it's gonna have to be Scarlet and Violet, and I'm probably gonna place it in C. At the top of C, maybe? And I actually quite like these games. But dude, I called Sword and Shield ugly and sometimes has frame drops. This is on a whole other level. This game is like open world, and I will gush about it in a minute, but let me just say, games are horrible looking. They're so ugly, and you'll never see 60 FPS practically. Like, if the average playthrough of this game is like 20 hours or something, you're probably only playing a 60 FPS for like a fucking, at most, like an hour of it. Like, total. Adding up all the goddamn seconds, bro. Like, you're literally never playing a 60. The Terraform gimmick is alright. I thought it was... I thought Gym Leaders using it was cool. The Champion sucks, but whatever. You know, and some of the Pokemon are kind of lame, but for the most part, like, you know, it's just horrific performance, and it looks horrible, and for a company like Game Freak, that is just so bad, dude. Like, RBY are broken as fuck, but it was like, dude, it was a small team, and it was the 90s. This game released in 2022, bro. In 2022, and they fixed, like, hardly anything with the game. Like, what the fuck? Also, apparently, Scala runs better than Violet because the Legendary just causes the game to lag less, I think, when you use it. Also, you can ride the Legendary. It's kind of interesting. Like, you get the Legendary very early on, but you can't actually use it until, like, the end of the game, pretty much. Like, it's really interesting. Now, let me gush about this game for a sec, though. The game's formula is so fun. These are, like, the most fun games I've played probably since RS. They're so fun. And it's so painful that it's so fun because the game fucking sucks. But the game is so fun. The formula is so good. An open world Pokemon game where you can do nearly any gym in any order you want. And it isn't just the gyms. You can also take on the team star raids whenever in almost any order you want. And you can do those like badge quest things as well. And you can, and if you do that, then you can buff the Legendary, so you can make him faster, you can make him glide. It's fucking cool. It's so cool. Like, dude, okay. You have the crowd of people that thinks that the games are too easy, and then you have the crowd of people, you know, and yeah, and like they hate like the EXP share and stuff like that. And then you have the group of people who like the EXP shit because it skips grinding, and they argue that grinding is not skill. This game almost completely fixes the problem, because if you just want a challenge, you can just fight whoever the fuck you want, and if it's too hard, you can do, like, anything else. You can literally do, like, anything else. I forget exactly how many badges there are and how many. I forget what they're called. Uh, Not like gym badges. I'm thinking of the other ones. You like recipe badges or whatever. I don't remember. Um, but yeah, you can do them in nearly any order you want, and like that's the beauty of it, dude. You can't do one of the raids, just beat a gym. You can't do a gym, do one of the recipe thingies. Like, why not, bro? You can do whatever the fuck you want, practically. It's so cool. And I like a lot of the Pokemon designs, too. I was able to make a pretty good team. And again, there's a good amount of variety as well. And dude, all the Pokemon being visible at all times, Let's Go did that too. But this game, like, there's Pokemon fucking everywhere, and you actually, it doesn't transition to like a fake background or whatever. You actually get to fight these Pokemon. You get to turn the camera around. It's so cool, dude. And you can see if they're shiny in the overworld too, just like in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. It's so cool. And I love that you can do the gyms in any order you want. I did do them in order, except for I did the 8th gym before the 7th gym, but yeah, it was pretty cool. Also, there's Larry. I quite like him. I think his name is Larry. He's a pretty cool guy. I like him. And I like the rival. This is the first rival that I've liked since Black and White. She's actually cool. She's very nice to you, but you still want to beat her because she has that vibe. She's dying to battle people. That's her thing. She loves Pokemon battles, and she wants to kick everyone's ass. And she's desperate. She's egging you on constantly. She constantly wants to battle you to see how you're doing. It's so awesome. Why is she so nice? Except it actually works this time. The rival doesn't have to be a dick. They just have to be like her. Like, she's actually written well. It's a big improvement, bro. And they didn't do an evil team this time, but if they're not going to do that, I like what they did. This is the best non-evil team that we've had. I genuinely think it's interesting. And there were a few battles I actually got a little stuck on, dude. Not gonna lie. And I think the future and past forms are really cool. And the twist ending is fucking cool as well. Even if it's a bit out there, I think it's cool. I really like these games. The reason why it's ranked this low, though, is, again, how can a multi-billion-dollar company get away with performance and visuals that bad? And, right, in early versions of the game, they were like, some people's save files were getting corrupted. That didn't happen to me, luckily, but yeah. I don't know how common it was. It's pretty rare, but still, like, that's bad. And, like, yeah, just fucking... Also, the other reason is because, you know, I've only played them once. I do want to play it again. I need to buy Scarlet and then play it. The DLC should have been free. I know people say that with Sword and Shield, but I really think this time around it should be free. But yeah, the other thing... is that... Scarlet and Violet are the only Gen 9 games so far. Maybe it could expand with... I think there'll probably be like another like spin-off or something, but... yeah, as far as it currently stands, like... there's just one game to play, and the DLC's not even out yet, so the DLC could be bussin', but we don't even know. So, but yeah, the games are just naturally super fucking fun, which is so goddamn annoying. Alright, now we are getting to the B tier. This one's gonna be a little hard. I know which two are going in B, it's just, I don't know what order they're going in. I think I've accepted my fate. I think I need to accept my fate that this is gonna last a while. This video. I don't think I'll have time to practice tomorrow. That's not that bad, though. It's not a big deal. Alright, so Gen 3, I hate to do this. Nostalgia really wants me to put it in S. But I think I'm going to put it in B. And I'm also going to put Gen 6 in B, but yeah, I'm probably going to place it... I don't know. Okay, so... let's start with Gen 3. I have so much nostalgia for Sapphire, Emerald, and Fire Red. Right? But when we look at it logically, the games are good, but they suffer a lot from not having the physical special split. Gen 1 and 2 have like this old school charm to it. Gen 3 feels like it should have the physical special split, and it doesn't. I know it had abilities and it had a ton of Pokemon. In my opinion, Gen 3 probably has the best Pokemon designs in the franchise. But I still, you know, here's the thing, right? I know the IGN thing, too much water, lol. It has too much water, like, genuinely, right? I hate that part of every Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald playthrough, where it's like, after you, defeat Team Aqua or Magma, and then you get access to Tay and Liza and just, like, the rest of the water routes. I hate that because I'm the type of person where I need to fight, like, basically every single trainer. I've always been like that. So I have to fight every fucking trainer, and it fucking sucks. It takes forever. And, like, you know, it's mostly gonna be water types. But there aren't that many good grass types, and there aren't that many good electric types. I mean, there's Manectric, but you don't want to use it every playthrough. There's Magneton, where its only good move is practically Thunderbolt and maybe, like, Thunder Wave. I think you can get Pikachu in the Safari Zone, but, like, you know, yeah. There aren't that, yeah, anyway, point being, there aren't that many good, electric types. And for the grass types, there's a few, you know, Shiftry's terrible. Ludicolo's pretty cool. Breloom is a physical attacker, so rip. Sceptile is pretty cool, I guess. The starter trio is fucking awesome, by the way. Marshtomp is ugly as fuck, and Gabuskin kind of is too, but I love the rest of them. Swampert is my favorite Pokemon of all time. Mudkip being pretty close up there. And it is nostalgia, pretty much. My first ever starter was Mudkip, and in Fire Red and Leaf Green it was Squirtle. And Gen 3 was the first game, like, at this point they are the most distinct games between Ruby and Sapphire. Like, they're the most distinct of the most unique, like, in terms of differences. Because Team Aqua and Team Magma, they actually have different goals. Team Magma wants more land, and Team Aqua wants more ocean, and then they both find out, like, in their respective games, like, oh shit, we fucked up, bro. It's still very similar, which then has its own problem of them feeling too one-note, but yeah. The music in this game is terrific, the visuals are terrific, the Pokemon designs are fantastic, it introduced abilities, but there is way too much water. There are still so many Pokemon that are not worth getting because of how late in they are. You know, also, dude, there is a big problem with Emerald. Emerald is better. It has a lot more battles, and also, Ruby and Sapphire introduced double battles, but you nearly never do them. Emerald has way more double battles, and it just has, like, a better... It's just more Pokemon, more teams that make sense, you know. But the one massive fuck-up they had, dude, the one massive fuck-up they had... Oh, by the way... In Kanto, you get, like, a cool Victory Road, and then in Gen 2, there's just, like, fucking nothing there. They didn't even try, bro. Anyway, the one place where they massively fucked up in Emerald was Wallace. Instead of him being the 8th gym leader, he's the champion. So now, the 8th gym leader is a water-type gym leader. And the champion's a water-type guy. Why? And his team sucks. Steven was so much cooler. Skarmory is awesome. Cradily is a great Pokemon, but he's cool. Claydol is awesome. Metagross is fucking nuts. Like, Armaldo is cool too. What the fuck what does Wallace have? Gyarados. Okay, a little redundant to this point, but okay, a little cool. Milotic. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Except for the fact that fucking Juan has one too. And then Ludicolo. And then, like, that's it. You do get to face Steven post-game. He has a bit of the red problem, but still, it's still, you know. Anyway. Also, the games can have a dry battery. That's another thing about Gen 2. God damn it. The batteries will eventually die inside the cartridges. In Red, Blue, and Yellow, this is the case. In Gold, Silver, and Crystal, it's even worse. Because the game has a day and night system, which is kind of cool, to be fair. And like a berry growing system. The clock has to be on all the time, as opposed to whenever the game is on. So the batteries die a lot faster. So yeah. That's basically it. They die, it dies even faster. In Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, the battery runs dry, which fucks up berries, pretty much. I just wanted to point that out. Also, there is there's even more Aqua and Magma stuff in Emerald, and I guess it's sometimes to the point where it's like a little much, but still though. It has better gym leaders, you know, more trainers and stuff, like, and its Battle Frontier is insane. You guys already, I mean, if you know, you know, pretty much. I love Fire Red and Leaf Green, but again, lack of physical special split hurts, dude. But the big thing, my big gripe with Fire Red and Leaf Green is that they don't let you use Gen 2 and 3 Pokemon. Even Pokemon that can evolve into Gen 2 and 3 Pokemon. You know, Steelix, for example. They don't let you use them until you've beaten the game, and that is so unnecessary, dude. Because, like, it's not like Steelix was gonna break the game. It's not like it would have killed to be able to see, you know, a ghost type that isn't fucking Gengar on Agatha's team. It's not like it would have killed them to, you know, let you use Crobat so that you don't have a completely horrible Pokemon in Zubat and Golbat. You know, maybe let us use Kingdra so that we don't have to rely on level 55 Dragonite, you know? Again, it is better than Red and Blue in every conceivable way. Visuals are great, like, the bag, oh yeah, Gen 1 has a super limited, I think you could only have like 15 slots in your bag or something, including key items. Is so stupid. But yeah, Fire and Leaf Green has like icons for stuff, and fancy little animations when you give Pokemon potions and shit. Great remakes of the music. It's just fantastic, but dude, if it were for that and the physical special split, oh god, they'd be so good, dude. They'd be so good. But as it currently stands, even though it is clearly dated, it is still solid, good, pretty good remix. For the time, almost as good of remix as it could have been, almost. So yeah. As for X and Y, it was hard to get into this at first. They're not bad games, but they are the beginning of, like, simple Pokemon games that are, like, really basic and easy. And Megas are overkill, even though they're fucking cool, they're still overkill. Mega Lucario, like, hello? Why not? Might as well give us a Mega Snorlax while you're at it. Fucking... But yeah, like... They're cool. You know, they're cool games. But it feels like a reboot, you know? Like, it feels like the games are simple because they're getting used to 3D. And they only added like 60-something Pokemon, and some of them, honestly, are just pretty whatever. So it feels, other than the transition to 3D and the cool Mega idea, and some great Pokemon designs, and I think the fairy typing is really cool, and they buffed some Pokemon, and the stat totals and stuff like that, which was pretty nice. And it was really cool seeing these Pokemon in 3D and stuff. I just think that it is a step down, a big step down compared to Black and White still. I would still much rather play Black and White. I've only beaten X and Y once. I already complained about like the Elite Four champion. It forced the XP share. This was the first game to do it. Your rivals are horrible in this game. You have like a bunch of rivals and they're all super nice but not in the fun way. And they're all just really easy to beat and just miserably easy and just boring. They also increase Pokemon shiny chances from 1 in 8,000 to 1 in 4,000 if you care about that. Just want to point that out. I don't really care because you have the option to play, 4 other generations. Well, 5 you can actually shiny hunt in Nabiwai, but you need to like trade to a different gen to see it's like if you catch a Pokemon and it has like the exact right stats and everything, then it's a shiny basically. And you gotta trade it. But obviously that's not great. I'd rather not. That's a pretty, pretty slow hunt, pretty annoying, And I want to see a Sparkle before I catch it, you know what I mean? That's the fun. I have played a decent amount of Gen 1, though. That probably does mean that I've ran away from a would-be shiny, which is kind of painful to think about. Anyway, yeah, Gen 6 are kind of cool, and I respect them, but it is a step back. I can't deny that. As for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, updated visuals, fairy typing, physical special split, new abilities, stat buffs, megas to Pokemon like Altaria and Camerupt and stuff, that's really cool. But dude, at the end of the day, they got rid of like the Battle Frontier. The games are easier because of Force EXP shit. Some Pokemon are just like way too busted. Again, like Mega Meta Rose and stuff. They give you a fucking Lottie. They give you a Latios or a Latios, depending on the game that you have, and with the Mega Ring as well. Like, why, bro? And fucking Speed Boost Blaziken. The games are too easy, but they're still really good. Again, worse than Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald in some ways, better in other ways. So I could maybe see why people would prefer Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I personally kind of don't. I think Emerald, the charm, and also just like the games being harder and the Battle Frontier. But if we're talking about mechanically, like Ruby and Sapphire are more mechanically sound, and that, also, they're cheaper than Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, which is kind of... Well, at least Emerald. And also, it has, like, more post-game, which is cool. Yeah, so if it went for nostalgia, I probably would prefer Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, honestly. But I prefer Fire Red and Leaf Green over X and Y. So I'd still rate Gen 3 above Gen 6. I've been recording for fucking an hour almost. Alright, well... I guess we shall put this here, maybe? I kind of want to put in B, because I do have some gripes with Gen 4. Again, Diamond and Pearl, like, they're so fucking slow, dude. Oh, by the way, in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they let you actually evolve Pokemon. So you get to use Gallade, for example. Like, thank God, dude. Fire Red and Leaf Green could learn a thing or two about that. Anyway, I've already said that I think that Brilliant and Shining are better than the originals, but I don't think they're better than Platinum. Additionally, like a lot of people think that Heart Gold and Soul Silver are the best games in the franchise. I don't agree, but I do think they're very good. They obsolete Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Physical special split. Big sprite update. Like, you know, Pokemon have way better moves. You know, just fleshing out story and the Pokemon the trainers use and stuff like that. Just like a big improvement all around. Again, abilities, just making things more fresh. There isn't really much I can say that I haven't said with other remakes. They're just really, really, really good remakes. The problem with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire's remakes is that they do make the games like quite a bit easier. And they, you know, they have like the lifeless models and, you know, but Hot Gold and Soul Silver are like, they fix more in that sense. In terms of remaking a game and making it better, like Hot Gold and Soul Silver does a better job. They really should have, you know, the level curve issue is still there. Land sucking is still there, but these are really good remakes still. The Pokewalker was cool too. And again, a lot of Pokemon have been improved. And the music's fucking fantastic. And Platinum's pretty good too. Still though, do I really want to place Gen 4 above Gen 3? I played Gen 3 a lot more, and I do think that Emerald and Fire Red and Leaf Green are better than Diamond and Pearl, and maybe Platinum, because the games are still really slow-paced and shit in Platinum. Platinum significantly fixed Diamond and Pearl's issues. Dude, in Diamond and Pearl, the ace, the electric gym leader's ace is an Octillery, a water type, and they only give him, he has Signal Beam, which is an electric move. I think it was that. Oh no, it's Charge Beam, I think. Which is a weak move until it's used like multiple times. Like, dude, fuck off. But yeah, basically, just very good, solid remakes, on top of Platinum being pretty good. I'd say Hot Gold and Soul Silver are better remakes than Fire Red and Leaf Green. And between Emerald and Platinum, it's hard to say, because Emerald really fucked up with Wallace, and there's still too much water and stuff, and there's no physical special split and things like that. Whereas Platinum does have stuff, it's just too slow-paced and has a massive HM problem. So it's hard to say. But now we finally get to the S tier. I want to go to bed, but what I will say, my only issue, really, with Black and White, I have, like, my biggest issue is that Black and White 2 are too similar to Black and White 1, and in my opinion, except for one key thing, I do think they're just better in every way imaginable. So, in that sense, you know, yeah, Platinum's better than Diamond and Pearl, but there's still Hot Gold, Soul Silver, so there's still 2 games to play. You know, you still have Emerald and Fire Red and Leaf Green, you still have Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you still have, you know, even if you don't like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, you still have Sword and Shield and Legends Arceus. This is different. In my opinion, you should just see Black and White as, well, you should just see Gen 5 as Black and White 2. There's no remakes. The first generation does not have a remake. After Gen, yeah, so, because Gen 3 had Fire Red and Leaf Green, Gen 4 had Hot Gold, Soul Silver, Gen 5 had nothing, Gen 6 had Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and then Gen 7 technically has Gen 1 remakes again, and then Gen 8 has Gen 4 remakes. So Gen 5 and Gen 9, because, you know, Gen 1 and 2 don't really count. Gen 5 and Gen 9 are the only ones to not have remakes. And even then, we could see Black and White remakes during I think it would be Gen 10, but it could be Gen 9. The exception to Black and White Black and White 2 being better than Black and White 1 being better than Black and White 2, there is one huge subjective difference. I think, like, okay, so in Black and White 1, you can only use Gen 5 Pokemon until post-game, whereas Black and White 2, you can just use other Pokemon immediately. So you can get Pokemon like Elekid and stuff early in Magnemite and Riolu. Whereas Gen 5 forces you to be unique for once. It forces you to actually, you know, try to make a competent team. It's like a reboot almost. And it has the most Pokemon out of any generation. And I hate when people have been like, ice cream Pokemon? Dude, I saw a Worcester rant, and I agree completely. People do not know how badly people shat on Gen 5 when it came out. Unless you were there. You just don't know, and you might have been part of that crowd. And now we get games like X and Y that are super safe. Like, thanks, dude. Gen 5 are the worst selling main series Pokemon games that aren't remakes. Like, it's you fuckers' fault. Like, and you got ice cream Pokemon? Yeah, true, dude. You know what they have in Gen 1? Voltorb and Electrode, Zubat and Golbat, Magnemite, Magneton, Diglett, Dugtrio. Like, the Pidgey as well. Execute. Fucking, like, come on, dude, you know. And even though Magikarp's funny, he is still just leffish. Like, yeah, Gen 5 has some bad designs sometimes, but I still think its designs overall are very good. I like Chandelure, I like Keldeo, I like even the goofy looking ones I Watchug. Mishana, Mienshao, Bishop, Crocodile. God, I love Crocodile. I even like Stoutland. You know? So yeah, I mean, pretty much just like, unless you like having to use Gen 5 Pokemon, I do think Black and White 2 is better. You know, a little more variety. They have more quality of life changes, like being able to chain repels and stuff like that, and having the shiny charm. And they're just such amazing polished games. But even Black and White, I think Black and White are super good as well. They are like the hardest main series Pokemon games, probably. Just consistently, you know, Cynthia's hard, but like this is like the hardest, consistently difficult game. And the music is phenomenal, and the sprites are perfect. All the sprites are amazing, and they still have animations on the field. And there's so much love and passion put into all the sprites and animations and all the music. And the sick abilities now. And, like, Crocodile was fucking awesome. Dark types, fighting types, and bug types got huge buffs in this gen, and that's great to see. Volcarona's awesome, dude. And I love Kyurem as well. And, like, oh, dude, when they play that banger music when you're on red health. Okay, one change I do like about Gen 6 and onwards is that they don't beep in your face constantly when you go red. But Gen 5, if they are going to do that, Gen 5 did it the best way possible by having a banger be in the background. It did start the trend of being able to fight the Elite Four in any order, and the problem with that then is that they're all around the same level, which is kind of dumb. They probably shouldn't let you do that, to be honest, but that's like a pretty minor thing because it's still kind of hard. And I don't know how to fully feel about Team Plasma. Also, the distortion mode of Platinum's awesome, by the way. I don't know how I feel about Team Plasma. Like, you don't even get to fight the champion and the credits roll. That is weird. In Gen 2, I mean, why did I say Gen 2? In Black and White 2, they fixed that, but yeah. So yeah, I can only say very minor nitpicks about it. And Black and White 2 fixes even those. The only exception is, again, the Elite Four thing. And, like, I think that's basically it. I think the games are absolutely amazing outside of that, I guess. I mean, Black and White 2 are pretty similar to Black and White 1, but it's more original than a third version. And they probably do more to change the game than, like, Ultra Sun and Moon. So, yeah. I would go into more detail, but I've only been in Black and White 2, like, twice. I will play it again soon. Just phenomenal games, dude. They're so amazing. Too bad they cost like £1 billion, but I'm not factoring that. I'm just basically factoring retail price mostly. So yeah, I'm basically done. So quick recap. Gen 1, you have to give it credit, but at the same time, super broken, completely obsolete. Same sort of thing with Gen 2. And Gen 2, if it went for its superior mechanics, it would probably just be worse than Gen 1. Gen 7, Sun and Moon, a cutscene simulator and lag all the time, and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are worse than Fire and Leaf Green, and I haven't played Ultra. Gen 8, I like Sword and Shield, but they're ugly. They started Dexit. They don't run that well, and they're too easy, and stuff like that. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are the near bare minimum for remakes, and they're super disappointing because Black and White will probably be like that too. Like they've set a trend just like Sword and Shield, and I haven't really played Legends Arceus. Scarlet and Violet are really good games with horrible visuals and frame rate for a company like that. It's kind of inexcusable. And the games are still kind of easy, but unfortunately, the games are extremely fucking fun for some reason. X and Y, they're too simple, but they're still fun, and I like Megas. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are really good, but they do take a step back in making things easier. And getting rid of the Battle Frontier. Also, they completely changed Tantalizer's gym, and I don't think it's better. I really don't. And they changed Broly's gym, and I don't think it's better either. And those are, like, the only ones they changed, if I remember correctly. Gen 3, lack of physical special split hurts tremendously. Too much water, they fucked up with Wallace, Maxie, and Archie are redundant. Like, you know... So, there's a lot of Pokemon that are just not good, or are, like, only good in the late game, or like they're only obtainable in the late game. Diving is heavily underutilized as well, and there's a big HM problem still, especially because of dive, and you practically need Flash for the Victory Road as well. Fire and Leaf Green are great, but lack of physical special split hurts, and not being able to evolve your Pokemon really sucks. And not being able to encounter Pokemon like Mischievous and Kingdra and stuff like that really would have helped the games. Platinum is good, but it's like way too slow-paced and has a massive HM problem. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are the most polished, faithful remakes that we will probably ever see. Even though they still carry over some of the same problems, there's like not a single thing that they do worse compared to Gen 2. That is also the case with Fire Red and Leaf Green, but Gen 4 has even more updated mechanics, even more updated visuals, stuff like that, so, you know. And then Gen 5, Black and White 2, again, depending on what you want, you might only like Black and White 2, and the games are expensive, and, yeah. But they are just the most good, polished, you know, mistakeless, like, there's, like, no major issues. Just hottest, most enjoyable, entertaining Pokemon games. And that's basically it. So, thank you for watching, and goodbye.